From the SNC World Headquarters in New York, I'm Haley Bianco, and here are the stories we're following at this hour. Forest fires in Philadelphia's suburbs and communities in New Jersey are threatening homes and forcing residents to evacuate in what officials say are the driest conditions in nearly 120 years. Russian President Vladimir Putin has congratulated Donald Trump on his election victory. As to what he expects from a second Trump presidency, Putin said, quote, "I don't know what will happen," end quote. California Governor Gavin Newsom has called for state lawmakers to convene a special session in December to help safeguard the state's progressive policies on climate change, reproductive rights, and immigration. Newsom and other Democratic state leaders said California will work to Trump-proof the state and bolster its legal protections. West Virginia voters narrowly passed a constitutional amendment rejecting assisted suicide in the state. Michael Harrington reports.
The margin was razor thin, but a majority of voters approved an amendment that bars doctors from helping people take their own lives. The bill reads, quote, "No person, physician, or healthcare provider in the state of West Virginia shall participate in the practice of medically assisted suicide, euthanasia, or mercy killing of a person." So far, 10 states and the District of Columbia have made it legal for people to commit suicide with a doctor's help. Michael Harrington, SRN News.
President Joe Biden has congratulated Donald Trump on his presidential election victory and has invited him to meet at the White House. Earlier today, Biden urged Americans to bring down the temperature following Trump's win and sought to console fellow Democrats who were alarmed by the former president's stunning comeback. Biden has also expressed his commitment to the smooth transition of power. California is being lashed by powerful winds fueling fast-moving wildfires that are destroying homes and forcing residents to flee in Ventura County and along the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu. Palestinians, locked in war with Israel for more than a year, are now expressing fear at Donald Trump's return to the White House. Leaders of the militant group Hamas and the Palestinian Authority are urging Trump to act for peace, saying they hope Trump will learn from Biden's mistakes. Ceasefire efforts by the United States and Arab mediators, Qatar and Egypt, have so far failed. Now that he's won back his job as president, Trump is preparing his list of White House appointments, including his cabinet. Tech billionaire Elon Musk is expected to get a nod as a special advisor. Nick Harper has more from Washington.
Donald Trump's transition team says they're working on a list of appointees and will begin to put together a list for him to choose his cabinet from in the days and weeks ahead. They expect to pick names from a wide array of experts who they say will make life for Americans affordable, safe and secure. Elon Musk is expected to be not part of the cabinet, but rather in an advisory position, because otherwise he would have to divest his business interests. President Biden has invited the president-elect to the White House as part of the transition process. In Washington, Nick Harper, Salem News Channel.
The Federal Reserve cut its key interest rate by a quarter point in response to the steady decline in the once-high inflation that had angered Americans and helped drive Donald Trump's presidential election victory this week. The rate cut follows a larger half-point reduction in September, and it reflects the Fed's renewed focus on supporting the job market as well as fighting inflation. Today's move reduces the Fed's benchmark rate to about 4.6%, down from a four-decade high of 5.3% before September's meeting. Meanwhile, mortgage rates in America increased to a four-month high this week and could rise even further amid fears that Trump's proposed economic policies could stoke inflation. The average rate on the popular 30-year fixed-rate mortgage climbed to 6.79%, the highest level since July. Last week, it was 6.72%. The rate has increased for 6 straight weeks and has risen by 71 basis points since late September. As supply remains below pre-pandemic levels, rising mortgage rates and elevated house prices combined have stifled sales on previously owned homes, which hit a 14-year low in September. Now let's check out today's closing bell numbers. And that's your money. In New York, I'm Haley Bianco, Salem News Channel.